You know, it shouldn't be this hard to give somebody your money. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about Fox's Nightmare. What nightmare in particular? Well, it's a pre-order nightmare. So if you've been in gaming for any length of time, you know that pre-ordering, whether it's a game, whether it's hardware, can be challenging to say the least. Sometimes you have pre-orders that roll out, there's plenty of stock and they're available everywhere, and it's really not a stressful thing, and you can just kind of pick this thing up whenever. That is becoming really more of a rarity. It's going to be probably, you can chalk it up to the pandemic. You can chalk it up to supply chain issues and chip shortages and all that stuff. But when it comes to Arcade1up, for the most part, it's been fairly easy to get your hands on, some of their cabinets. This cabinet, though, in particular, the one I'm talking about tonight, is going to be Marvel vs. Capcom 2. This is a little bit of a different animal. There's always a hype train, and to be fair, I've been part of that hype train from time to time, talking about these cabinets when they first come out. Hey, go out, make sure you pre-order. But it's really not that big of a deal whether you pre-order or not. A lot of times when you pre-order, you don't even get the cabinet before anybody else does. So it's kind of, it's counterintuitive. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to pre-order. But when it came to Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I think a lot of people were kind of, anxious about pre-ordering this cabinet, because this cabinet was not just for the die-hard arcade fans. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is a fighting game classic. It's just one of those games that reaches out into every facet of the gaming community. I mean, this was obviously, it was an arcade original. It came out, a lot of people have love for it on the Dreamcast. It's probably the best home arcade or home console version. It was out on PS2, so people have those fond memories. Marvel, the property, is really hot. I mean, even though the movies are kind of taking a bit of a dive, in my personal opinion, I think it's still a huge, huge property. You got guys like Wolverine who've just never really been lame. They've always been good characters. So there's a mass market appeal for this cabinet in particular. It's the first time this game, well, not the first time, but it's the first time in a while that this game has been able to, it's been available to buy in any way, shape, or form. The last time we saw this was on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. I still have that and love it to this day. It was a great sort of HD remix. But if you're wanting that 4x3, that 5x4, that old school experience, this is the latest and greatest way to actually capture that. So if you were paying attention, you're watching channels like this and others, you knew that, hey, these pre-orders are going to drop. I think it was the 8th that they were going to drop, or the 7th or the 8th was going to drop, and you were going to have to go to Arcade1up's website and get your pre-order in. But Target always being kind of the odd man out when it comes to some of these releases. We all remember X-Men, the 4-player cabinet. They dropped it early. They dropped it for $100 less, but at least that was on the pre-order day. This time, Target steps up and throws this thing out, several days early. It was actually September 2nd instead of the 7th or the 8th. I can't exactly remember what day it was supposed to be for Arcade1up, but the 2nd is when I got my pre-order in from Target, and I decided to go ahead and let it ride. So the pre-orders came out. They were available for from Arcade1up's website and a couple of the retailers. I didn't bother. I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go with it and see what happens. And then we have one of the shows that I did, I think it was episode 70 of the This Week show. I talked about, hey, listen, my pre-order money has not left my account. I used PayPal, and it's still sitting there pending. And I was told by many of you out there that, hey, listen, Target does it this way. They don't charge you until it's ready to ship your pre-order. Sure enough, when I go and I check Target's website, that is definitely the case. That's actually one of it's in their FAQ. So I'm like, okay, fine, sounds good. I'm waiting and I'm waiting. I'm seeing these things pop up every now and then, sporadically. A couple cabinets here, a couple cabinets there. It's Best Buy, it's Walmart. I'm telling all you about that in my community post, but I'm not partaking because I'm good. I have mine. Then something weird kind of happens where the status changes on my app, my Target app. When you go and you check your orders, right? It always said the 6th, October 6th is when it was going to ship. Sounds great, can't wait. But then it said it was back ordered, and then it wouldn't arrive until the 13th, which I thought was odd. Then I guess it was time to actually charge my account, charge the card, and it didn't and it actually said that it was declined. And so they then canceled the order. The whole time I'm looking at my PayPal statement, and it's like pending. It's still pending. Now all this is happening. This cancellation happens just a couple hours before Arcade1up is about to go live with a second round of pre-orders for Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And at this point, I'm kind of disheartened because this is going to happen on a Thursday, this past Thursday. Most of you, myself included, get paid on Friday. It's something I wasn't really planning on. So, of course, now I'm sitting here. I'm going to have to wait and maybe get in on Arcade1up's pre-orders on their website. So this happens hours before they're going to go live. What am I supposed to do? I guess I can go ahead and get in line and virtually go online. Got the phone out, but I'm working. I don't know what to do, and it's like I don't know. So I'm looking around and I'm thinking, in the back of my head, and this is something for you to remember in the future. If you see a retailer moving and making changes as far as their Arcade1up stock, as far as their Arcade1up inventory, pay close attention to that retailer. The retailer in question was Home Depot. I noticed, as I'm always looking at different retailers, you have the usual suspects. You got the Best Buy, you got the Walmart, you got the Targets, you got the RC Wiley and all these other guys. Home Depot was one that always had their cabs, their Arcade1up cabs. They had them full price, and they had a fairly limited supply. But recently, I started noticing that their inventory was increasing, and they were actually participating in some of the sales. And then I noticed that they were doing some price matching also. It was very specific to certain places. They did not price match with RC Wiley. I tried that. Trust me, I tried that. Didn't work out. But they started having a lot of those sales. And then I noticed some of their inventory really started to increase. Some of the deep cuts, some of the weird stuff. Wasn't just the mainstay cabinets. So I thought, well, okay, before I settle on Arcade1up's website and hoping I can get in, crossing my fingers, let me just swing by and check it out there. Check out Home Depot. Sure enough, boom, Home Depot actually had them. I also have a Home Depot credit card. As all homeowners do, you've got your Lowe's, you've got your Home Depot, you've got your home improvement credit card for all those, emergencies that pop up, hot water heaters, whatever, project honeydews that always seem to stack up when you least expect it. Anyway, so got that card, got plenty of money on it. I got it. So, boom, I get it, and as soon as my purchase goes through, I let everybody else know, hey, it's available on Home Depot. So, to say that it was an emotional roller coaster is probably an understatement, because with this cabinet in particular, there was, like I said before, there's a lot of anxiety. I knew there were going to be a lot of eyes on this cabinet, similar to Arcade1up's Blitz cabinet, which was definitely, something that I think a lot of eyes were going to be on that cabinet for sure. But not quite like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It's just one of those games that I think a lot of people want, and they want that in any way, shape, or form. And if they can have it in a cabinet, sitting in their office, game room, dorm, whatever, I think they're definitely going to go for it. Oh, and if you're wondering what this is all about, working on the arcade in my, the full-size arcade, my Raiden arcade, and I kind of stab myself with a knife. It's okay. It's okay. The thumb is still intact, but when you're in your arcade and you're working, you don't really have access to bandages. So this is just toilet paper and electrical tape. You do what you got to do. So, I guess, is it a nightmare? No, it's a nightmare that I woke up from, and hey, it's okay. It worked out for me. I hope it works out for you. I hope it worked out for you. My cabinet, as of right now, has actually shipped. And as the filming of this video, it is October 7th, Friday night, when I'm recording this video. So it's actually shipped. I'm supposed to get it next week, I think next Wednesday. Really excited to get my hands on that cabinet. Obviously, to give you a complete review of the cabinet, let you know all the details. Of course, we know at this point, if you're watching this video, you're probably aware that there is no online play for Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I kind of predicted that, kind of. To be fair, I gave two options for what I thought was going to happen. This is actually kind of a combination of 1 and 2. But the big news is that we're not going to have Wi-Fi play on Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Now, I did a poll last week on the This Week show. 53% of you said, listen, even if it doesn't have Wi-Fi online play for Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I'm still going to buy the cabinet. So the community, for the most part, I think is split when it comes to Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and I think that's probably a big indicator of the broad appeal of this cabinet, of this game. So my nightmare is over. Hopefully your nightmare is also over. Let's look forward to the next nightmare. Will it be Time Crisis? Who really knows? But anyway, thank you so much for stopping by, checking out the channel, listening to my story. Y'all have a blessed day, and I will see all of you next time.